You hear it said.
Hello, officer.
A bespectacled man in a black bomber jacket. As you approach, he narrows his eyes and extends his hand in greeting. On the sleeve of his bomber jacket, as well as on its back, are enigmatic white rectangles.
Hello, I'm Kim Kitsuragi.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective. Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic Hard-Boiled Phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Perhaps you're drawn to the dark and noirish atmosphere. Then this is the book for you.
Of course. Such violence and immorality.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile. The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. The tagline reads, Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks just like Dick Mullen. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he is a suspect. The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vespa to a small town along the Insulindian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home where he passes out drunk. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law, but also extremely accurate in your case. Give it time. You'll fall off the wagon sooner or later. 2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vespa police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vespa police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence. Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman. Deneuve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead. Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role. He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder? A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height. And while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own. Torvald, the art collector, is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone. That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mallen discovers that Torvald was once involved with Diana Deneuve. Could it be that this is all one evening, Diana Deneuve comes to Mallen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. Yes, comfort and pleasure. The warmth of another human's touch. The burning taste of liquor on her full, sweet lips. Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer. As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Diana Deneuve turns to Mallen and says, "By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you. I love you." Always aim for the center of mass. Whatever it is, Mallen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly. Who can you trust in this wicked, messed up world? That's exactly what Dick Mallen says in Dauntless Dick and a Fatal Appointment. Speaking of, your gut's seen better days. It's a cesspool of burbling acids and noxious fumes, the kind of thing the government might declare a zone of irredeemable catastrophe. Could it be an underlying condition aggravated by years of greasy meals scarfed down between shifts? No point in worrying about it just now. When Mallen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood. Mallen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body. Fleeing a crime scene, destroying evidence. Even if Detective Mallen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years. The heat is on. If Dick Mallen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in? What is it, Detective? It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mallen never lets anyone get to. There was never a time when he wasn't a detective. For a moment, you cease to read the story on the page and see the book for what it is. A collection of brittle, cheaply printed pages held together by glue made from nowhere. You hear the screech of sneakers on a waxed floor, and you feel the burn of rope against your hands. Are these figments of some other life? You won't find the answers you're looking for here. In other words, is it really so evil, Detective? Like what? Do you even have those? Yes, they're out there waiting for you, just over the next rise. Did you lose them, or did they leave you? Do you even know the difference? But then, what does this book know? It's just a poorly made piece of pulp garbage made to be consumed and discarded. So, who did it, Detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Diana Deneuve? Could be. Who knows? Only one way to find out. You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so you try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough. They're gone. Dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take way too long. Yes, blame a dead horse for your fat, clumsy fingers. In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity.
Hello again, esteemed officer. Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. Some of these old paperbacks just don't have the durability. I would be happy to sell you another one, but unfortunately, it's the last copy we had in stock.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here? Which book was it, sir? Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. I haven't read that one yet. I wish...
Give up. You'll never find the answer. There's no other copy of Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity here. There isn't. If only you had more time, more resources. Who knows what you could have come up with? Maybe if there had been more money and less speed. Or more speed. Or that, yes. Either way, you might have been able to come up with an answer. But not like this. Hang on, you can do this. Use your imagination. You know who the suspects are. Just make it up. So, who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve, detective? Just fucking pick one. It makes sense. Junkies and art collectors both need a steady stream of income. And what better way to generate income than murdering a couple of people? Well done, Ace Detective. You put a dangerous junkie and art collector behind bars. 2 birds with 1 stone. Now put your feet up and take a breather. That's it. You got it. The whole shebang. The coat, the hat, the swindle so crooked a yeggman couldn't break it. Yeggman, that's either a safe breaker or someone who works almost exclusively with egg yolks. The deaths of Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve, the case Dick Mullen was on. That's what this crooked swindle must be. Don't think like a cop. Cops don't solve cases. They slide nippers on the goons and take them into big houses. But they don't solve anything. The Dicks, Gumhills, Hawkshaws, Peepers, Sleuths. Men like Bullseye, a snooper, and a damn good one. If there's any doubt, consult your trusty Dick Mullen book and reconnect with the real you. Him, Dick Mullen. You, him, use, Modus Mallen. In your hand, you hold 4. There's something feral crouched between the rocks. Something pried back away, very slowly. There, by the water. Intriguing. This is a men's size L, leopard patterned unitard with short sleeves. There are bits of seaweed stuck to it. It speaks to the animal inside you. Actually, this is a leotard, not a unit. Who cares? It's a tard suit either way. Slow and steady, boy. You know how to handle this. Drop it now. This thing will eat you. Can't you feel the hairs on your arm and on the back of your neck standing up? Your heart rate races through. Yeah, but what? Despite the time it's spent in the water, the garment itself is surprisingly silky. The leopard spots are slightly there. The wind blows through rocks and reeds. Days spent in the salt water. The gradient Run! There's only one thing left to do. Just know that. Once the leotard, but don't you want to feel different? It can be a secret that only you slip from your briefs into the leotard. It's very tight. Putting on the garment feels like stepping into a warm summer lake. Your fingers run down your pectoral muscles, your abdominals, your hips. The dried sea salt chafes against your soft flesh. Again, once the leopard comes on, it's never ever. It's where. There, on the ice, target practice. Target practice for improving your aim. Some of us have been precisely. No obstructions, just the sea. No, don't throw anything at the bird. The bird, it's a seagull. They're practically immortal. And the only thing. Come on, do it. Don't be such a pussy. It'll be fun. Especially. No, it won't be fun. It'll be annoying. It will be okay. From a purely physical point of view. Particles of soil, grass, and tiny rocks fly in a wide arc. Oh, told you we need to practice. What if this was a combat situation? We would. A clump of soil seems to graze the bird's wing, but the gut. Fuck off, you bipedal rodent. Whispers it's psionic. Better, but practice makes perfect. One. Oh no. You should return to the boardwalk now that the body has been taken away. A little something that your visual cortex has put together. Let's call it an Oh no, it's one of those shows. You can just stop by whenever you're close. The cold sea breeze stings your face as you step on the boardwalk. The body is gone. But something still lingers. A luminous wheel of pleasure. And all things bright. Its wooden frame creaking in the wind. The mirage looks both sad and glorious in the mist. This must be the pleasure wheel that Trant Heidelstein told you about. The little wooden gondolas dangle in the wind, their seats empty and floors littered with. A seabird has made a nest in one of the cabins, but even this looks abandoned. The wind gets stronger the higher you go. On a good day, you could see all the way to La Delta when you reach the top, and the masks and set. The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. Its 12 red cabins suspended in the air. There's a ticket office made out of an old gondola. Its wooden frame, the same shade of red as the ones above. A sign mounted on its side declares, there are hustlers, addicts, rag and bone merchants, even entire families. The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. It's up and down, all the way around. Something sad and small wakes up in you. Nothing. We're just here to enjoy decay and death. There's the bench where you found the man. Even the pleasure wheel is rotting from inside. What do you think happened to him? Do you think he was just trying? Rain, sleet, and bouts of sun had marked his body when you found him, ready to break him down. The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. It's up and down, nothing, decay and death. Do you think that's what happened? Rain, sleet, and bouts. The pleasure wheel stands up and down, nothing, decay, and do you think rains? The pleasure wheels. Some waves come crashing against the boardwalk, shattering the mirage. Over there, in the corner, not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball. Cornelius Gurdi, lit, a phrase almost synonymous with the Insulindian pinball scene. Cornelius Gurdi and the Mountain Goats reads the golden lettering on top of the back box. There's a small column of text. Get the game on, fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting of a mustached man climbing a hill, a column reads, inspired by the legend of Cornelius Gurdi, taken on the world's tallest. The theme of the game is to explore Gurdi's climb through the perspective. The peak of the mountain is at the top of the playfield. All the balls have small areas around the playfield represents Gurdi's climb, places he was said to have camped, which the goats can discover. Indeed, think of them as balls. It takes a while to get into a rhythm, but pretty soon you're able to keep 3 go fingerboy. Your game is definitely improving. The jolly goats are flying all natural selection. Suddenly, a special passage leading to the summit slides open at the top. Maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit isn't easy. More fall to their deaths. But finally, tiny hammer shatters something inside the machine. Something glass. An ampoule? The last one. The words pale rupture light up on the speaker panel, and the machine starts filling with a thick, milky fog. There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. Some is actually leaking out of the machine, and one by lucky goats, the fog looks soft and inviting. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost imperceptible. Hit the pads as fast as you can. Maximum attack. Not even a bullet can. The amount of focus it takes to predict when a ball goat is in striking range is staggering. You're down to your last goat, going mostly by sound. Eyes are useless at this point, but that goat is something. You're in a perfectly balanced system where neither you nor the pal is able to get the upper hand. This could go on forever. With automation-like precision, you keep the final goat ball in play, reacting to the tiniest stimuli, floating in the flow state. Gurdi ball is lit. A panel opens up at the top of the playfield, and a new ball charges downhill. It's larger than the goats and matte black. So violent is its descent, it immediately knocks the last goat into the abyss. Then proceed. High score, announce the speakers, and the whole machine lights up. Then the flippers retract, leaving a perfect opening for the Gurdi ball to join the goat's back. You didn't just win, you absolute legend. You joined a very exclusive club of people who've ever achieved this monumental feat. Too bad no one was around to witness your triumph. It was a high score, after all. Once again, the machine becomes one with the dust and the darkness. Life has left it, unlikely to ever return.
Yes? What about me? No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. The eyebrow is exercising. It's like you're locked down.
Something the matter, detective?
Goddamn right something's the matter. Lieutenant Eyebrow here thinks he can shut you down like some browless freak. Thinks you're just going to lie back and take. Let's show him. Raise your brow high, up to high noon. Smugly, sire. Raise it smugly. After decades unchallenged, the lieutenant is caught off guard by your brazen provocation. But his counter comes fast and your fingers trace the edges of an imaginary holster on your hip. A slight twitch. Now counter his counter. Brow to the troposphere. Full, put your neck into it. That's where the power comes from. The lieutenant anticipates your move, but can neither deflect nor parry your counter. An almost unbearable tension fills the room. The hairs on your... An almost imperceptible snap inside the lieutenant. His shoulders relax, his eyebrow casually descending as he tries his best to look relaxed. A graceful retreat, so smooth you'd almost think there was no battle at all. There, you've breached his defenses. His secrets are yours.
All right. I guess there is one thing. I have, on a few occasions, when I was young and foolish.
Tetrahydrocannabinol is the psychoactive substance in the cannabis plant, commonly known as hemp. It's one of the most common recreational substances.
The hemp. Cannabis.
It's barely a secret. Everyone smoked hemp.
It's not a big deal. I don't do it anymore. But it happened a few times in my 20s. How about we hit the crime we came here for instead? Besides, those days are long behind.
The words are true, my lord. No love for the herb.
Of course. Here's my gun and badge. They'll put me in the chaise for this. But it feels good to have it off.
The chaise électrique.
Good. But enough of this. Was there anything good?
The lieutenant's door. The lieutenant, no response. What are you doing? Still, no response. Where is he? Isn't it party o'clock? Is he not worried that you didn't get the body down? Doesn't he want to go for a little drive? Anything to not face the hanged disco man yet. You hear the sound of a drawer.
What is it, Harry? What time is it? Isn't it always...
You're going to have to figure this one.
Good night, Harry.
The lieutenant's